Very good afternoon and welcome back to the Biathlon World Cup. We're in San Sickario in Italy, the pre-Olympic World Cups. Day 2, the women's individual 15-kilometre coming up in a few moments' time. Patrick Winston and Mike Dixon, your hosts for this event, and the same conditions as yesterday, and another big field, 113 entries for the women's 15-kilometre. Frank Luck, as always, has been out on the track assessing the situation, and here he is with Ziggy Heinrich. Ziggy saying it's not my prison code, it's the number of days to the start, the opening ceremony for the Torino Winter Olympic Games. And he says the buildings may need a little bit of work before they're finished, but the tracks are in absolutely prime condition, fit for any Olympics. Frank says the track's pretty good, same as yesterday, but starting a little bit later than yesterday. There's no wind at all, and so nothing that can prevent a fair race. So he goes on really saying it's important for all the athletes to get a good result here, not only for their own confidence for this year, but also for the up-and-coming Olympics. So who are the favourites for this women's 15? Olga Pilieva, you can make that out. Sandrine Pei, he also says, is on pretty good form. Just says, let's hope that it's an interesting race and enjoy it. So also hoping for a big crowd today on the tracks, and as you can hear, Jacques Rogge and Silvio Berlusconi, the Italian PM, turning up for the weekend's competition, so that should be a good occasion. So Mike, the first analysis looks just about the same as yesterday. Snow's in good condition, but we are a little later in the day. How will that affect the conditions?
It may well be affected as the tail-enders come in for their shooting, because we will lose a little bit of light, but they have had the advantage. The sun was very much coming in from the right when the men zeroed. Wasn't the case for the women. -9 yesterday, +7 today. +7, very warm. Snow is still down at -5. Good chill on the snow. But and we saw a lot of the men yesterday dripping with sweat, which I was surprised to see at -9. But that is because the air temperature is very warm.
So a pretty tough course being set out here. We commented yesterday that the downhills weren't too technical. They're reasonably fast, but it is up and down, a lot of up and down. It's a working course again, and bear in mind we're at altitude.
And the feedback from the men was, well, this is no easy track. It may look easy in profile, but you don't get an opportunity to rest, to recover at all within the race.
So many of the big stars racing will go over the absentees in a few minutes' time. But Olga Pilieva, the World Cup leader, is here and is on pretty good form, but it does look as though she's going to have to fight off the up-and-coming young Norwegians and also Sandrine Pei of France, who's going very well indeed. We need to see something special here if she's going to be a feature in next year's Winter Games.
Oh, indeed, and she missed 8 in Antholz, the World Cup, leading into this one 2 weeks ago. And without a doubt, she wants to improve on that today. She was 67th then, so she's after a top 30 without a doubt.
So away we go, 113 starters in all for this women's individual. Still a big field for this time of the year, but that is partly because all the coaches want their athletes to get experience on these Olympic tracks. And the more they race on them, the better they know them, the less they fear them. And I guess in the end it all leads to better performances. Kanai Maguro of Japan from Sapporo. When are we going to have a World Cup event in Japan?
Well, the Olympics there back in '98, there was the pre-Olympic race, as this one is, back in '97. I would love to see a race going up to Sapporo or back to Nagano. Great atmosphere over there in Japan.
Zina Cocker of Canada, number 3. Good downhill skier. Also into climbing. I see a lot of the biathletes are into mountain climbing, Mike. I'm not quite sure whether that just involves a stroll up to the top of Ben Nevis, or whether they're taking the north face and doing the technical sides. But they all have the perfect build, nice and light, very strong, and it requires good mental control as well.
Yeah, good mind control, and that is the big aspect of biathlon, isn't it? The control of pressure.
Climbing a sport for you?
Not for me. I can't handle heights. I go all week when you look down a mountain.
So a steady start then for Sasha Santa. Olga Pilieva getting an early start, starting number 6 today. She would have elected to go in Group 1, but I'm not sure she would have wanted to go so early, although this season a lot of the early starters have done well. The pressure is off, there is no information to feed off, and they're just concentrating on their own race. So it may turn out that the World Cup leader has the best of the draw. Caddy Wilhelm. What are her chances today?
Yeah, I think her chances are once again good. She did race well in Antholz in the 20 kilometre. We know she's got the speed. It's all down to that difficult part, the squeezing of the trigger. Pilieva's just rolled her sleeves up. It really is warm out here.
She's been living in her own little apartment away from the Russian team for a couple of weeks, just playing a housewife, she says, just looking after the kid and doing the cooking, the shopping, living a fairly normal life. I think that's got to be a good thing at certain stages of the season. And she's mentally very, very strong indeed, and she doesn't seem to be fazed by the fact that she's got the yellow bib.
No, not at all, and the pressure, we've seen her win so many races this year, but I'm surprised, to be honest. The Russian team management don't want to keep someone as special as this lady with the team, because the rub-off factor and the way she trains, but also it's great for Pilieva to have that freedom of choice to stay here for 2 weeks prior to this race.
Well, what a great run of races she had in Ruhpolding a month ago now. 3 successive wins in the events there, including the relay. Didn't go quite so well in Antolz, but still picked up useful points with a 3rd, 19th and a 9th. That was Ushi Diesel. Just before we move on to the best of the Bulgarians, Ekaterina Davoska. 4 wins in her career, but most famously of all, the Olympic gold that she got in Nagano back in 1998. Huge potential when it goes right. When it goes right, and it was in this event where Davoska won that gold medal. And that must be in her mind. She can bring herself up into form for the big occasions like the World Championships in 4 weeks' time and the Olympic Games. So she certainly is a real contender. I'm surprised Frank Luck didn't mention, and we just saw in the background there, Liv Greta Poiré as his potential favourite to win today. I've heard she's back, and back on pretty good form. Back on good form ski-wise, but I wouldn't agree with that, because I don't think she's done enough good shooting yet to have built her confidence. One good race here today. If she can hit 18 or 19 out of 20, I'll put some money on her taking a win before the end of the week. But I think, don't you think she needs a little bit of success to build the confidence? Well, remember, she stepped out of Antholz World Cup after a poor Ruhpolding, as we see Pilieva powering up the steep hills. Yeah, so Liv Greta having that break, I think she's got her mind back onto the shooting. She's put her training right, and she's certainly one of my favourites today. Well, we'll see. She starts number 15 today. Olga Zabrilova, also another of the big stars, starting to show her form, put in a win in Antolz, and it was in the individual at altitude over 15 kilometres. Maybe she's feeling super confident today. We'll have to wait and see. Olga Pilieva just working her way round the course. 5 laps to be completed of 3 kilometres. They'll take a little under 9 minutes to complete each leg. Beautiful tracks, has to be said, considering how little snow they've had. They've done a fantastic job to get a base of 45-50 centimetres of artificial snow, and then obviously topped up with any natural snow that has fallen. But I'm very impressed with what they've managed to do. Indeed, and we see it often on the camera pictures, the water. They've created these big ponds of water to use as a source to make this snow. So regardless of how warm it is, next year at the Olympics there will be snow. Good to see the course as well as the cameras follow Pilieva. Roller coaster, steep climbs, a little bit of recovery, but not much.
working on all the parts of the course, trying to get as much speed as possible.
Using the transition well, Olga Pilieva. Been a couple of weeks since she's been racing, so although you can do as many interval sessions and time trials as you like, you still don't really know until you start racing just how you're going to cope with the longer distance. Looks confident enough on the downhills. I think that will be a tricky corner, Mike, if it gets icy, but in the current conditions it's not too bad.
Not too testing at all. Big advantage, Pilieva, having been here 2 weeks leading into this World Cup.
Well, a lot of names have started since Pilieva left. Just run through a few of those, but first to focus on Livgreta Poré, the World Cup winner from last year. What a season she had last year. Absolutely dominated the World Championships, but it's not gone her way this year. Livgreta Poré looking to find a little bit of form. Only one win so far this season. She'll be hoping to make it number 2 today. Livgreta Poré heading out of the stadium now. She'll be followed by Xingyang Liu of China, who certainly has got the potential to win. She got so close to a win in the pursuit in Ruhpolding. It really was cruel fate, wasn't it? She fell 150 metres before the finish line and was overtaken by Olga Pilieva. And, well, it would be a fantastic occasion if she could record her first win. In these conditions, we had a first-time winner yesterday, Mike, with Mickey Grice.
Yeah, Mickey Grice came through to say, or to do as he said he would do this season, take his first victory. He was delighted. He had to go for a walk later in the afternoon just to come to terms with it, to realise that he can win, especially on the Olympic tracks.
And he put it all down to his shooting. He hit 20 out of 20. He said he was skiing okay, but it really was the shooting where he just felt very, very confident right the way throughout the race. And he, in the little interview he did later, he said it wasn't a case of nerves on the last shoot. It was just routine. And I guess he's achieved what every biathlete is after.
Oh yes, difficult to hit all 20 as Uschi Diesel sets out. Look at the speed. Uschi's still on form by the look of things.
9th in the World Cup standings now. She led earlier in the season, but Diesel, I'm not sure she can win the overall. If she's going to, she's got to notch up 3 or 4 podium finishes in the next 2 weeks to have any chance. She's 124 points adrift of Olga Pilieva, the current leader, and Diesel desperately wants either a World Championship gold or the Crystal Globe. At the moment it looks as though the World Championship gold is the easier of the 2 tasks.
Indeed. Just Uschi Diesel as well, she was saying that her favourite race is this one, the individual 15 kilometre, but we don't often see her shooting that well in this race, but hopefully she'll put that right today.
Yeah, the conditions absolutely perfect. You would put your money on the fact that you need to shoot 19 minimum to have a chance of winning today. Well, here's someone who's certainly got a good chance, Tora Berger, the sister of Lars Berger. Taken us a bit of time to work that one out, but we got there eventually. Anyway, Tora's on good form, 15th in the World Cup standings. Now I hear, Mike, she's pretty much assured her place at the World Championships, but Lars, who is a phenomenon in biathlon in the world, is on the verge of being kicked out of the Norwegian team.
Very surprised to hear that this morning. Indeed, he has to show his results in the next couple of days, or he won't be going to the World Championships. Unbelievable.
I can't believe it, after the success he had in the last World Championships. First to reach the range, Sasha Santa, 4 out of 5. Remember, just no penalty loops in this individual race. A minute added to the time. I think if they had the option, they'd all go for penalty loops.
Well, if Saskia compares this to her race in Antholz, she did miss 3 on her first prone shoot, so 2 minutes better today, and that must give her confidence as she heads out on the 3 kilometre loop. Is that Guro tripping over, I think, as she came off her shooting mat.
Starting number 23, Kati Wilhelm. in second place in the World Cup standings. 25 points adrift of Pilieva, a chance to take the yellow bib if she gets a win, and Pilieva finishes outside the top 15. But I don't think that's hugely likely. Got her first win for the season in Antolz. So enjoys the altitude, is obviously on reasonably good form. She looks so much stronger in Antolz on that finishing straight. A very exciting finish we had.
Absolutely powerful indeed. But when she did the last 20 kilometre in Antolz, she missed 4 targets on her first lying down shoot. And obviously that was a one-off error. The wind was difficult, so I'm sure she'll put that right today.
I don't think you can read too much into the results from Antolz, simply because it has those conditions where you can have 3 or 4 minutes with the wind blowing at a force 6, force 7, and then 30 seconds later it's absolutely dead calm, and so there's so much luck involved, which doesn't tend to be the case here.
Well, there we are. You can see it's a much less aggressive wind, and it's more guaranteed to stay in the one direction, unlike, as you say, Antolz, which is swirling left and then right. Pilieva, though, she's looking at the flags as she lay down.
So Olga Pilieva obviously looking for a clear shoot, but it will give us some indication. Already see the sweat building up. The heat could be a major factor here. Should have said perspiration, shouldn't I?
For ladies, absolutely. Well, she's done it again. 0, 5 with 5, and she just looks so confident. Her 2 weeks have been well spent here, just getting used to the range and the feeling coming into the range.
On a technical front, Mike, she's one of those that doesn't really bring the feet that close together. What's your feeling on that sort of style?
Well, I mean, technically it's without a doubt better, as we see Liv Greta bringing her feet closer together. Technically that is a more efficient way, as you know, in physical terms, to ski. But Pilieva has that individual style.
2.7 seconds inside for Liv Greta Poiré. She's either on the sort of form that we've been led to believe by those training alongside her in Norway, or she's gone off very hard. I think the first shoot is going to be the real indication of whether she's on for a victory today. Katarina Davoska, has she managed to do something over the last couple of weeks? Lots of teams have been at altitude trying to boost the hemoglobin levels in the blood. Get a good feeling.
Brilliant. There are so many Bulgarian fans watching this and always wanting her to do well. Let's hope she's back in form. Certainly looks confident.
Pavlina Filipova also going for Bulgaria a little later on. She starts number 48 today, but Filipova outside the top 20 in the world rankings, but certainly capable of finishing in the top 10 if she has a great day. There you see the bobsleigh facilities in the background. It's going to be a good games, Mike. I'm not sure we're going to have a huge number of Italian fans, maybe for the cross-country and the biathlon, but certainly it's accessible to all the Europeans. So we're going to have a massive Germans and Austrians, and I dare say the Scandinavians will come down in good numbers as well.
Katie Wilhelm standing high as she's dropping down this fast corner. Yeah, I mean, they're expecting even for the weekend races up to 10,000 spectators. Will be good to see how this course and the stadium copes with all these people.
Olga Zaitseva for Russia. The Russians with a very, very strong squad now. You may be glad to hear, if you're a fan of Svetlana Ishmaradova, she is back in the team, having had a very, very poor period. Shona Usova is out again, having shown us good form in Ruhpolding. And Albina Akhятova, Mike, also out. And I know she's been suffering from the flu virus that I think you had a dose of.
Well, I did actually, but yeah, and she was in tears when she realised she couldn't race today because of her virus, her infection. But it's Brankovic on the range, and she's had a fantastic season so far. And that's a bad start. 1 minute penalty straight away.
And again. 2 podium finishes already this year for Brankovic, but that is not the sort of start you need in the individual. 2 penalties, 2 minutes added, and a long way outside the best. Sledemark goes through for Greenland. Her husband having an excellent race yesterday, finishing in the top 65 positions. Martina Glago, could only be her with the light blue hat. Incidentally, a number of our viewers wanting to get hold of the kit with the B on, which is of course the B for Bjorn in Bjorn Daily, and if you send in some emails, we'll try and track down a supplier. The modern cross-country kit, Mike, huge improvements. Big improvements. It allows you to sweat without cooking on the inside. There's much more freedom with the equipment, and it looks good as well as Poiré settles. Now, a moment of truth for Liv Greta. Raphael Poiré finishing 7th yesterday in the men's event. Big movement in the rifle as she recocks. How expensive is that going to be? The ski speed, Mike, would have been 9:55, which with Pilieva's time at 10:03, she would have been just about on a par with Olga Pilieva, slightly ahead of Ekaterina Devoska. So it's not the best form we've ever seen from her, but it's not too bad. Not too bad, certainly competitive, and well, 1 minute penalty. She will be out to catch that time back. Lou as well missed. She's missed the first 2. She's readjusted. She's trying to rebuild the precision. It's as if the right elbow wasn't secure. Oh, disaster. Well, this is unusual. Moving her left elbow, her right elbow. Hasn't been out of the top 30 so far this year, but these results would indicate that she is not on her way to picking up more points. Xingyang Lu, 4 misses, the worst we've seen so far, and in danger of dropping out of the top 11 in the World Cup standings. That's very disappointing. She'll be really concerned, and I hope that her coach got a good view of where they were going so she can correct the sights. I cannot believe those were just errors. Well, interestingly, Musagang now scoping for Ushi Diesel here. He was watching the Chinese where she was missing. But he can't tell Ushi. You're not allowed to give information when the athlete's shooting. Ushi changes the sights whether anyone tells her or not. She always does, doesn't she? Good start, 9:52. It's certainly competitive. She's going to be just outside Olga Pilieva's time, depending on how quick she can get the sticks up and get out of the range. Here she comes, Ushi Diesel, another promising start from her. Remember, she needs wins desperately if she's going to take the overall crown this year. Olga Pilieva on her way round, second loop at the moment, coming in for the second shoot very shortly, and she's got a lead of 10 seconds. Now, I saw Uwe Musagang slightly shaking his head when Ushi left the range. Oh, maybe it's because every shot is in the middle. Absolutely. Oh, that was to the right, but the previous 3 shots close in the centre. Not bad. Slightly longer delay, a little low right, but on the whole, nothing to complain about there. Torberger, is she still on the form that we saw in Antolz a couple of weeks ago? 2-time second in Antolz, so she's been proving herself this season. 4 out of 5, still in with a chance, but as I think we can still hold by the fact that the winner is likely to hit 19 or 20 today, because the conditions are pretty calm. Pretty calm indeed. Yeah, there were 13 of the men yesterday missed 1 shot, and 4 had the perfect 0, so a rough idea of maybe what we can expect in the women. Zubrilova, fantastic. The wind is now beginning to, you know, as the sun begins to drop again, there's little currents of wind spinning around. Didn't affect Zubrilova. And a good time as well. That'll give her confidence. Well, of course, Zabrilova won the last of the individuals in Antolz, but she came 41st in the first individual of the season in Oslo, so a mixed bag of results, but certainly in Oslo she wasn't on form. And she, above all others, when she's skiing well, she shoots well. When she's skiing badly, the shooting is an absolute disaster. It's something that they go hand in hand with her. It's not the case with everyone, but certainly it is with Zabrilova. Now, what about Kati Wilhelm? Fast enough to win. Has she matured enough to take an individual World Cup?
It's quite a twist, if you like, in her left wrist. Normally it's better to keep it locked, but that's her style of shooting. Missed one though. Good ski time though from Kati, and she can make up that 1 minute's mistake.
Splits the two Norwegians. Poirier in 8th now, Wilhelm 9, Berger 10. The top three at the moment after the first shoot: Pilieva, Diesel, Zabrilova. Those three have all gone clear, and in fact the top 7 have all gone clear. And Vasiljevic also with a clear shoot down in 13th, just skiing a little bit slower, but no one outside, no one inside the top 15 has missed more than one target at the moment. So clear shooting, pretty much a prerequisite. Bushy Diesel taking on some fluid early on, very sensible move. It's no good taking the fluid once you're dehydrated. The damage is done.
Difficult to catch your drink properly here, in that you need to tuck down low and pick up the speed on the downhill. Good start so far for Nazarova. See the wind blowing the label on the back of her race bib.
I've got a good idea for a drinks mechanism, Mike. A small bag with a tube and one of those camelback sort of feeding teats at the end of it, but just a small one that takes maybe 2 gulps, maybe 100 millilitres or so, with a Velcro patch on it, and you just stick it on your shoulder so you can drink for the next 30-40 seconds or so.
Could absolutely work, especially in a race like this. But Pilieva, the perfect shoot again. Yeah, maybe when you're grabbing the drink as you're skiing along, the German spot there was slightly better, I think, than the Norwegians yesterday, when they lost a lot of. They were standing up high on a very fast downhill. You want to get into the tuck down position.
Now here's someone that Frank Luck thought could take the win here today, Sandrine Bailly, and it looks very good. 9:34. She's skiing fast as well. Olga Pilieva's time is going to go, and Sandrine Bailly is going to set the new pace. 10:03 she's after. She's right up at the top end of the range. 9:42. Astonishing run so far. 21 seconds inside. France leading as Ekaterina Davoska takes to the range for the second time. Good clean shoot initially. Davoska down in 5th after the first shoot, 29 seconds behind Sandrine Bailly. But that shoot will put some pressure on the French woman, and of course Olga Pilieva, who's also going well. Davoska 10 out of 10, and she's going to go comfortably ahead of Rachel Steer of America, who's not having a bad run. How many misses for Rachel Steer? 1 miss in the first prone, and clear on the standing. Clear shoot for Glago perhaps today.
Perhaps indeed she is one of the regular good top class shooters in the two sports. Skiing not always the best, but her shooting is up there.
Looks to be slightly off balance on that right leg, just can't get off the leg, getting too stable as such.
Powerful small frame though, this the technique from Glagos based on power.
Olga Zaitseva.
Well, she didn't really want to go to their high altitude camp in Armenia before coming here. She was in two minds, but let's see if it's working for her. The ski speed's good.
Yeah, certainly no harm with the shooting. She took a little longer than Sandrine Bailly, so I don't think the time is an indication of how much slower than the French woman she is. She must have lost 5 to 10 seconds in the skiing, but that's a promising start. Zaitseva puts 2 Russians into the top 3. Still Bailly of France leading. Very early days, but once again all the seeds have gone in the first group. Kari Wilhelm screaming past Ludima of Latvia. I guess we would have understood that. And the Latvian not really making any attempt to get on the back of the German. Is that an indication of ski speed or just the speed that they've hit the top of the hill?
I think it's the speed into the top of the hill. You really have to work over the top. Ludima not quite getting as much power over and off the top of the hill. Of course, the Germans are so well coached from a young age to maximise every part of the profile of the course.
Glago still seems to be falling away to that right-hand side. Lots of side bend, a little bit of extra flexion more than normal. Now, have you got any exercises, any suggestions for people who are starting skiing? Keeping the hips steady and stable is one of the hardest things. What exercises or strength work can they do to correct that?
I think one of the best ones is on a step, where you keep your hip and you're especially pushing your knee out, and it really does build good power around the glutamus maximus, around the supporting muscles.
So you do a skating step up onto a bench sort of thing?
Yeah, many repetitions of that.
And just watching it in the mirror to make sure that the hips stay level?
Yeah, works well.
So Katja Beer, 4 out of 5. She needs some good races if she's going to get into the German squad. Number 6 in Germany at the moment. Now, Libretta Poiré, this to stay in the race. Change in rhythm for the last shot, but she gets it down. 9 out of 10 for Poiré. The time is reasonably good. 20:24 is Davoska's time. Pilieva still leading with 20:15. And Poiré's going to be almost a minute outside, Mike. It looks as though she's relying on the Bulgarian and the Russian missing targets in the latter stages of this race. But it is so much better than we saw before Antolz.
It is. You could see how hard she was breathing. She was gasping for air, and that's an indication that she has been working now on her shooting. She's able to control that. Some weeks ago she was just trying to snatch them, trying to release the round without too much thought. More control today, without a doubt. Well, there's the spectators. Good to see them.
Uschi Diesel, I think she's had a haircut since Antolz. That's a few grams gone.
You see out of her headband the little white paper, it looks like. Well, that's earlier when the sun was coming in from the right eye. So bright. The sun is spinning around now behind the range, so she probably won't use it.
Una seconda serie di tiri in testa la russa Pileva con 20 minuti e 15 secondi davanti alla Davoska.
She's being very deliberate, not risking or reducing her risk of missing by taking her time.
Excellent stuff from Uschi Diesel. That certainly shows that she's got the right frame of mind to take the victory here in San Sicaro. Katrine Arpel with a miss on her first pro, and that could prove very expensive. So many of the fast skiers shooting well at the moment, the likes of Zabrilova, Diesel, Davoska. Of course, one miss just from Libretta Poiré. And good to see that Rachel Steer still up in the top rankings after the second shoot. Lying in 5th position at the moment, the American lives in Alaska. What a place to train that must be.
Oh, fantastic. And Rachel Steer has often shown us that she can shoot so well in the 15-kilometre. Davoska's skis are certainly gliding a lot slower than Martina Glago. And that's a pity. When you've a top-class engine, a top-class athlete, and the skis aren't gliding certainly as well as your main contenders, it makes life difficult for you.
Davoska can just hold Glago on the outside of that turn. That will certainly annoy the German. She should have put a little bit more effort in to get in front before that big long uphill corner. Zabrilova with her first mistake. Ski time is good though. So 4 out of 5 for Zabrilova on a level par with Libretta Poiré after the second shoot. In fact, she's slowed down a little after the first round, Mike. She's lost 10-15 seconds to the likes of Pilieva and Poiré. Guseva, huge potential.
And huge pressure today, Patrick. This is her last chance to prove herself this season.
Well, this week, or have they said specifically this individual race?
This weekend, yeah, this weekend of racing. And if she doesn't improve her results, she won't be going to the World Championships. It's a lot of pressure.
Simone Denkinger in the caption. Caddy Wilhelm with makes it 9 out of 10 as well. So an interesting situation developing. Denkinger with one miss. Really, she's the sort of skier who needs to hit 19 out of 20. So her last chance has gone. She's got to go clear from here on in. Caddy Wilhelm will be strong enough to ski into the top 5 with just one miss. 21.02. And that puts her into 4th position. Pilieva, Davoska, Diesel, the top 3 at the moment. Those 3 all clear. Then Wilhelm, Poiré, Zabrilova, Berger and Steer in 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. And they've all missed 1 apiece. Zina Kocher of Canada, Mike. Excellent start from her. 9th position at the moment. 2:16 off the pace, 1 miss.
That is good. The Canadians are beginning to lift their performances, and Robin Clegg in the men's side, normally reliable in the 4 shoots, the individual race. I thought Katrine Apple would catch Ushi. She's 1 lap behind, if you like, and I thought she would catch her. Left the range only 7 seconds behind Ushi. But look at the aggression here, as usual. And another drink. Quite right, it's warm today, you lose a lot of sweat.
Well, you only have to lose 1% of your fluid levels for your performance to start dropping off. And it's not only the current race, it's all about recovery later. Eating and drinking during a longer race, essential. And then, of course, after a race like this, the sooner they get the food into the body, the better.
What a time from Sandrine Bailly. She's shooting fast as well.
I don't think there was any doubt in her mind as to how many targets were going down. That looks like a race-winning performance. What a shame it's not a sprint. She's got to do it all over again. She reached the halfway stage, and Sandrine Bailly of France has the lead, and it's a healthy one. Pilieva goes down a second, and she is now, what is it, 40 seconds, 50.3 seconds behind. So Bailly on fire, carrying on the form that we saw from her in Antolz, but Pilieva keeps the pressure on. 15 out of 15 so far for her. Poiré climbing up the order, starting to turn the screws now. 27.04 her time.
Well, as Pilieva and Bailly ski off into the distance, I'm wondering if Pilieva, it would be a good tactic if she can close the 7 seconds that she left the range behind Pilieva. Fantastic to see 0-0 from the Slovakian, Mihokova.
They've always been, not always, but the last 2-3 seasons, the Slovakians have certainly improved their shooting, and all credit to them, because it's not easy. Still some way behind on the skiing. Glaga with a rare miss, 4 out of 5. She's put immense pressure on herself. The ski time, Mike, would have been 10.05, which would have been something like 10-15 seconds off the best.
Well, Martina will be annoyed that she let that last shot go. Just possibly a lapse in concentration. Davoska, well done, the Bulgarian. She's back. And only 23 seconds behind Pilieva. Bulgarians don't have as much in the way of back out as the bigger teams. Hopefully she'll get the information.
So Zaitseva makes her first mistake, and that could be very expensive, but the Russians will keep a keen eye on Olga Pilieva, who's still going well. 15 out of 15 for her, and Davoska, of course, from Bulgaria, has joined Pilieva after that 3rd shoot. Uwe Musigeng back on the range. We saw him out on the tracks yesterday during the men's event, just clearing a drink off the track.
I think he's going to reuse that bottle. There was an awful lot of drink in it. Well, Martina's certainly looking aggressive out there, as if she's in good form.
Two of the French women side by side. Number 66, Sandra Keith of Canada. But look at the speed of Sandrine Bay. She really is going very nicely. Looked effortless when she came in for the first two shoots, and she's clear at the moment. Anna Bagali, first shoot. Late start number for Bagali.
Pretty good. It looked so stable for Bagali. Perunka from Finland, she missed two on the stand. Her strength is her shooting, but not today.
And the ski time respectable for Bagali. She hasn't raced since the 14th of January, so to be within 21 seconds of Sandrine Bay, I think she'll be delighted with that. Certainly the Russians looking strong as a squad, Mike, must be favourites surely to take the World Championship relay. With the likes of Pilieva, Bagali, Shona Usova, Ishmaratova, Zaitseva, the list just goes on and on and on.
And also bringing new and young biathletes in as well. The coaches are been pretty intelligent to give these young biathletes an opportunity.
Big moment for Liv Greta Poiré. Well, she gets it down. It was a nervy shoot, certainly as it draw to a close. And 31.28, I think Poiré is going to go into the top three. 31.30 she stops the clock at, and Davoska on 30.50, so she's 40 seconds behind Davoska, but has missed one more target. So if Davoska and Pilieva get a case of the nerves on the last shoot, then Poiré will have a chance. But if either of them go clear, you don't get the feeling that she can catch them.
It's a long way to catch up for Liv Greta, but you never know. This is the best she's been shooting in an individual this season, and it might just inspire her to push just that little bit harder on the track.
Well, you can see the British flag up there. We have got Emma Fowler racing today, and Emma's been on pretty good form, so we're hoping for a decent run today. She's got to miss two in the first stand, which is bad news. You said at the British Championships, Mike, she was starting to lose the shooting form.
She was winning the races, but her shooting form, sadly for Emma, was beginning to leave her. Let's hope she can, in the final two visits to the range, put that back together. Ushi adjusting her sights again. She adjusted down, which is indicating the light is decreasing, and it's working so far. As the light goes down, it is sensible to adjust the sights down as well.
Well, she's been taking her time, but this is pushing it a little bit too far. Seconds proving expensive. She gets the targets, avoids any penalties. 15 out of 15 for Diesel, but as you can see, she's some way off the pace set by Pilieva, and we know that Sandrine Bay is moving even quicker. So Diesel just going for a top 5, I suspect, with this sort of a performance. 19.9 off Pilieva. She's got to have saved something. She's capable of pulling back 15 seconds or so on the last loop. That's where she really fires in, just like Sven Fischer.
That's Ushi Diesel's strength, and I think this is Liv Greta's strength today as well. She's taking it steady, focusing on the shooting, but I think she's ready to unleash more skiing power out on the tracks. You get that impression that she is climbing this steep hill.
Steep is a bit of an understatement. It's almost a cliff. It's reminiscent of the big climb in Ruhpolding that's really cruel when you hit it in the last and the penultimate lap. And if it makes it look as though Poiré is struggling a little, you know just how steep it is.
Indeed, it certainly does. There's Guseva, the top caption. She has to perform well this weekend of racing to to stay in the Russian team.
That's a lot of pressure to cope with, but she clears 5 out of 5. Another mistake from Elena Zabrilova. It's not going to be a winning day for the Belarus athlete.
Well, not the same as a couple of weeks ago in Antholz, where she hit all the 20 targets.
Now, Cassie Wilhelm skiing very well, but 2 mistakes. So I'm afraid she is out of the shake-up for a top 3, but certainly a chance of getting in the top 10. It's all about picking up points. Remember, Wilhelm lying in 2nd place in the World Cup standings at the moment. She's 25 points adrift of Olga Pilieva, and with Pilieva clear at the moment, it looks as though the Russian could extend her lead today. Sandrine Bailly in 3rd place with 442 points. Pilieva on 484, so 42 points between those two. And Bailly really has to get the win to start clawing back that difference.
Bailly out in the track is in form. Good chance to see Olofsson.
Why do you think she started so late?
I don't know why she was put so far down. Possibly with the sun and the temperature now beginning to drop, the track, our coaching staff maybe think, well, it's going to speed up as the sun leaves the track. And they will have checked that out in the previous days.
Of course, it's just coming up to 3:15 local time in San Sickario. So, as Mike says, the temperature's starting to drop. It's a question of how fast it happens and how much moisture there is in the snow on the tracks at the moment, because that will freeze. The track will get a slightly glazed effect, and it should be a little quicker later on.
Katrine Apple has caught onto the back of the skis of her teammate Ushi, but it's 1 lap behind.
Here is Sandrine Bailly now. Can she join Pilieva and Diesel? 15 out of 15.
Look at her ski time, Patrick. That's amazing ski form.
And the shooting isn't too bad either. This is one of the outstanding performances of the year so far. Sandrine Bailly keeps a clean sheet, and she's just got 1 shoot to go. She's pretty much got it in the bag now. Can Pilieva put pressure? Pilieva, top right-hand corner of the screen. I think there's a miss there, Mike. That second shot has gone. Yes, she has thrown one wide. So advantage switches even more to Sandrine Bailly. Pilieva is quick, but she may find she loses out to Diesel, De Voska, and possibly even Liv Greta Poiré as well.
Yeah, that's an expensive final mistake from Pilieva. Doesn't normally let the pressure get to her, but it did today. 1 penalty.
So the second shot, this should be the one that goes wide for Pilieva. Unless we missed it. No, we've missed it.
Well, the last 2 were very central hits. Disciplined herself again to make sure they were central. Look at the speed of Sandrine Bailly. This is amazing ski form. Lifting that left leg so far up into the hill. You need power and fitness to do that.
Well, that's the sort of form that we saw at the beginning of last year from Sandrine Bailly, but it didn't last forever, about a month. So I wonder whether she's just got it right for the World Championships. But with the World Championships being later than normal, I'm a little concerned that Bailly's going to start dropping off again. Martina Glago clears the first 5 of her standing. Now, De Voska. Oh, she's made the same mistake as Pilieva.
Got the last 4. Will be so frustrated missing the first shot. First and the last are the hard shots. Her breathing wasn't quite under control for that first squeeze of the trigger, and it went wide. And she'll be thinking tonight, what if I had hit that target?
Now, Mike, when you zero, by the time you've sorted the zero out, the barrel is fairly warm from repetitive shooting. In racing, the 8-9 minutes of skiing around the track is long enough for the barrel to cool off. How much does that affect the first shot?
Only in extremely cold conditions, as Zaitseva misses another target. Yeah, it doesn't really affect it. The target as you say, there is an element of heating up as the lead fires out at almost 600 miles an hour, but doesn't really make a big impact. Condensation can build up in the barrel. That is a bigger factor.
7.8 second deficit for Uschi Diesel, but she's now in a very strong position. 2 shoots completed, and both or 2 of her 3 rivals have missed targets, so Diesel has a chance now. 15 out of 15 so far, coming round towards the final shoot. She knows that, or she will know by the time she comes in, that Pilieva has missed. She'll also know that Davoska has missed. Sabina Buchholz, Anna Begali at the top of your screen.
Begali keeping it stable. That's a very good performance. Not quite as fast as Sandrine Berry, but it's going to go ahead of her teammate Pilieva.
And that will put her into the top 2 positions. So, Bayi, Begali, Pilieva, the leaders at the second shoot. Bayi still to go through the 4th shoot, but she's clear after the 3rd. And Pilieva, we know, has missed one in the last shoot, so it is all change. After the 2nd shoot so far, the top 6 all clear. And then 13, 14, Helena Rover and Lanny Barnes of USA are both clear as well at that stage. After the 3rd shoot, the top 4 are clear, and the mistakes coming thick and fast in the 2nd of the prone shoots. Ishtad of Norway, a disastrous start, 4 minutes added already. Not often you get to see a wedding ring when they're competing.
It's not indeed.
Or was that an engagement ring?
That's her wedding ring, and she hardly ever wears gloves, certainly not today when it's so warm. Now a big moment for Liv Greta.
Chance to join the top 3. Expensive. Mike, this is the confidence we were talking about, and it's not there.
That is such a pity, and so frustrating for Liv Greta. She knows she can do this. Feeling the pressure, she's desperate to win.
Oh, now, that is an absolute disaster. The ski form is good, we've seen that. Perhaps not the fastest, no one's on the same sort of form as Sandrine Bailly, but for Poiret to throw 3 wide on the last shoot is an absolute nightmare for her. Come Saturday morning and the women's sprint, she's going to be a bag of nerves again.
As you said, a nightmare. It's a nightmare of confidence to be leading or to be coming in top 3 positions. If you even miss 1, she could have been top 3, but then to miss 3. Oh, is that Uschi falling? Tripping over the mats? Or was it Buchholz?
It's certainly not Uschi Diesel.
I think it was Katja Beer, actually. Here's Uschi for her final shoot. Looks confident.
I think she's just been given the news about the others. Big smile on Uschi Diesel's face. Now, can she hold the nerve together? The most experienced biathlete in the field. Fantastic record of results.
Now, the previous 3 shooting bouts, she's taken her time, and I think she'll do the same again this time. Very deliberate, even the recocking mechanism, she's doing that slowly. Oh, she's missed her first target. And her next miss.
So 2 go wide for Uschi Diesel, and the pressure just mounting and mounting, and there's only one woman left now who can complete the clear shoot, certainly of the top skiers, and that is Sandrine Bailly. 15 out of 15 for the Frenchwoman so far. Diesel won't threaten her, Poiret won't threaten her, Pilieva won't threaten her, and it's just going to be a question. I think, in fact, that Sandrine Bailly now has the luxury of being able to hit 3 and still have a chance. If she hits 4, she's almost certainly got the race in the bag.
Yes, unbelievable lead after the 3rd shoot. Uschi Diesel shaking her head in disgust, disbelief. Yes, Sandrine Bailey after the third shoot was 1:07 ahead of anybody, and that'll probably multiply to 1:27 by the time she comes in, the way she's skiing.
With a chance of chasing it down. So if she hits 3, she's still got a chance of catching this woman, Olga Pilieva, who's now heading towards the finish. Certainly turned up the pace, a little more dynamism in the style now.
What a day for Canada and Zina Kocher. She's in 4th place after the last shoot.
Just 2 misses for Kocher, so the surprise really is the fact that she's skiing just 7 or 8 seconds slower than Olga Pilieva. Another poor finish for Elena Zabrilova. It doesn't matter how experienced you are, Mike. The 3 biggest names in the sport over the last 5 years or so, Poiré, Diesel, Zabrilova, all making a complete hash of the last shoot. Now, what will Caddy Wilhelm do? The early mistakes suddenly don't look so bad. Well done. Excellent stuff from Wilhelm. 2 misses in all, and this could be her best individual race of the season.
Yeah, great control there from Kati Wilhelm. Started badly with 2 misses, but made it happen on the final visit.
Anna-Karin Olofsson, who's had a fabulous season and really brought Swedish biathlon back to life on the women's tour, certainly. The men not going too badly either. And we've mentioned on a number of occasions that Wolfgang Pichler is in charge of the Swedish teams, and his magic's starting to work. It's taken some time. I think perhaps it takes time for athletes to get used to his training methods, and certainly those who aren't going to make it just drop out at certain stages because it's such a tough regime that he drives.
It is a tough regime, and you need to be a top-class athlete to go into a hard program that Wolfgang Pichler, but look what he is doing once again for the Swedish men. And Olofsson, although shooting sadly not so good today. But it's belief, isn't it? Sometimes when you believe so much in a coach, it goes a long, long way to your success.
Here comes Olga Pilieva down towards the finish, getting a good cheer from the local Italian crowd. 19 hits out of 20 today. It's a very, very solid performance. What a shame about that last miss in the shoot. 51-11-12, way inside Maguro's time. Pilieva gets a 51-14. Mike, Sandrine Bailly just going through at the same time on the last shoot.
She missed 3. She missed 3 targets. 3 minutes penalty.
Hey, well, that's almost what we wanted as a spectator's point of view, and it does show that even Sandrine Bailly can't take the pressure. So it really throws the race wide open, and Olga Pilieva, who's leading at the moment, holds on to that lead. She's in first position. Davoska 20 seconds down. Wilhelm 34 down, and Sandrine Bailly goes from first down into 4th place, 38 seconds behind. How much can she gain? Possibly she could get 3rd, she could possibly get 2nd, but I can't believe she's going to pull back 38 seconds on Pilieva over the last loop.
Well, I wouldn't bet on it, Patrick. She's going to be absolutely furious with herself for missing 3, and she is going to take herself to an unbelievable limit. I wonder if she could pick up 38 seconds.
Well, Zina Kocher, an outstanding run. 2 misses for the Canadian, a PB on the cards almost certainly. The pulse watch obliterated by snow, but I think it'll be reading about 205 at the moment. I do sometimes wish we could find out exactly what the pulse rates are doing, but it's something that the athletes aren't so keen about. Well, certainly the coaches don't want us to know what the pulse is doing on the range.
They don't, but I think one day we will be allowed to see the pulses as they come in to finish. We know that they're on maximum. Davoska, brilliant.
51-14 for Pilieva. Davoska's outside that, but she's gone into 2nd, and that mistake on the last shoot suddenly doesn't look so bad after all. 30 seconds behind Pilieva is Russia leading, Bulgaria in 2nd, and Davoska may just have done enough to hold on to that. Sandrine Bailly on the charge, heading for the finish now, but three mistakes on that last shoot. Outstanding, or unbelievable stuff really, because she looks so confident in the early stages of the race.
But what an effect the pressure, the situation leading by so much makes to your performance, especially the last shoot. Efremova putting it together well. Very different aperture to the rear sight. Quite a big eye relief, the distance from the eye to the sight. Oh, missed her last three badly. Normally a very good shot on the World Cup Tour.
Now Poiré has got to dig deep. Here's someone who also missed three on the last shoot, Uschi Diesel. Well, it doesn't matter what she does on the range, she will push hard. Lying in 5th position after that 4th shoot, 1:15 off the lead. I think she's got too much to do to catch Sandrine Bailly. 2 misses in all for Diesel today. Both of those coming in the final shoot. Look at that, her chin gets closer and closer to the ground. It's never the most elegant of skiing from Diesel, but you just have to sit back and admire the work rate that she's prepared to put in. 4 misses for Zaitseva, 2:44 down. It's a good ski.
It's a good ski, but again, a great shot like Zaitseva missing 2 targets in the 2 out of 5 in the final shoot. Uschi's taken 14 seconds off Pilieva's ski time with a further, 1 kilometre to go.
But it's a climb back up to the finish area, so that plays into Diesel's advantage, but I think the gap too big between the last of the split times. We'll try and keep an eye on that because Sandrine Bailly will be coming through in a minute. We've got a split at 11.3. Pilieva still leading at that stage. Diesel was 1:05 behind and 30 seconds behind Kati Wilhelm. So it looks as though Diesel's really just trying to hold off those behind. I can't see her catching Kati Wilhelm at the moment. And still waiting for Sandrine Bailly to go through at 11.3. Not there as yet, but it's got to be soon.
She's on her last lap, remember, Sandrine.
So 14.3 the next split time for Sandrine Bailly. Liv Greta Poiré, I think she's got the news about Bailly and the likes of Diesel, all of whom have missed, because she's certainly upped the urgency for this last few 100-metre sprint. Really disappointing shooting from Poiré. Top 5 finish, do you think that will be enough to keep her happy?
I don't think it's going to last though, Patrick. She can pull back some time, but as the race progresses, there's Bogali out there that's doing well. She may well just keep a top 10 today. Kati Wilhelm though is on a charge with 700 metres to go. She's only got, 6 seconds to catch Davoska. I think she'll do it.
Well, the surprise of the day, the Canadians and the Americans in 3rd and 5th at the moment. Poiré is just going to go behind Steer and ahead of Xingyang Lu, who's recovered well despite some poor shooting. Not a good day for Poiré. Started okay, 14 out of 15, but then 3 misses on the last shoot, and she's going to be outside the top 6 or 7 by the end of the day. Katia Beer, last shoot for her.
Well, Katia's trademark is fast shooting. She's trying harder, focusing more to get these 5. Now, complete break of position after missing, rebuilding the position. Well done.
Just starting to tire on that 3rd shoot with a slightly slower shoot, just suddenly finding that there's not enough oxygen in the body to hold the position.
Yeah, thin air up here on the Olympic site. Uschi.
52.15 for Uschi Diesel, into 3rd, recovers well, but my goodness, will she rue those 2 misses on the last shoot. So Olga Pilieva still leading in the finish area. Uschi Diesel has failed to overtake her, so has Katerina Davoska. Sandrine Bailly, who led for so much of the race, 35 seconds down at the moment, and she was 37 at 14.3, so she's got a lot of work to do. And I don't think it's going to happen, Mike, but there is a chance, still a slim chance, that she'll be able to catch Kati Wilhelm.
There's that bottle getting passed back.
Katrina Appel. Not a nice score sheet. Wouldn't be too bad for golf, but for biathlon, 1-2-1 is not so impressive. 5 misses in all for Katrina Appel, and I don't think she's going to make an impression on the top three. That could be expensive in terms of a relay place at the World Championships, and I guess we'll see that on Sunday, whether Katrine gets picked for the German team.
Indeed, there's so much to fight for. There's pressure from all angles. You have to make the relay team, you have to make the World Championships team, and that's why we've seen so many athletes tripping up on the last 5 shots.
Tora Berger heading home now, 3 misses in all for Berger, and a top 10 finish very much on the cards as she comes in. Cocker's time of 54.34 has survived. In fact, it hasn't survived. She's going to be inside that, so the Canadian gets pushed down to 5th position, and Tora Berger with another great finish. She's in 4th at the moment. Zabrilova pushes Cocker down yet another place. Berger survives. Kadi Wilhelm comes in, 51.36, goes into 2nd. Great finish by Kadi Wilhelm. Good shooting on the day, just 2 misses. And I think that's probably going to be the fastest ski time of the day. 22 seconds behind Pilieva with 1 more target miss. So Wilhelm, the woman on form, will get an idea of just how quick Sandrine Bay's ski time is in around 3 minutes time when she comes across the line. Denkinger.
Well, this is very good from Denkinger.
Hold your nerve. Great start. Denkinger back on form, and we get a smile as a result of that. She knows that is good, and that is going to give her, what, an extra 4 or 5% of energy for the last 3 kilometre loop.
Indeed, but can she catch her teammate? She might go out just ahead of Wilhelm. She has.
She's gone out in 3rd position. Remember, Wilhelm has come through in the finish in 2nd place with a great final lap ski. I don't think Denkinger can match that sort of speed. She's only got a 3-second advantage over Wilhelm. She's going to need every single member of the German team out there supporting her if she's going to hang on to a top 3 today. Ishmaratova, good shooting, very good shooting. What a comeback. Oh, that spoke too soon.
That was her chance of taking the win today.
Is it ever going to happen? So many times in 2nd place. Ishmaratova, very good form early season, faded away mid-December, and we haven't seen much of her since. Here comes Bay. What an effort it was in the early stages. 3 misses costing her dear. 51.46, and she's down in 4th position. Mike making no ground at all on the last loop. I think being somewhat deflated by those 3 minutes added to her time.
Well, what a pace and intensity. She hit the first 4 laps of 3 kilometres. I think Bailey ran out of steam. She pushed so hard, and she really pushed hard on the final 3 kilometres, but didn't make the impression she had earlier on. Tired, very tired.
So the race not quite over yet, but Olga Pilieva will be thinking she has notched up yet another victory this season and will extend her lead in the World Cup. 4 wins so far this year. I don't think she would be able to believe her luck, because she must have known that Sandrine Bay was going well, and when she finished she will have seen the score on the score sheet saying that she was a couple of minutes ahead, despite the fact that she'd hit the same number of targets. And then suddenly Bay throws 3 wide, and she ends up 32 seconds down, so 1.5 minutes quicker than Pilieva over the snow, which I think makes her just a fraction quicker than Kadi Wilhelm. Yes,
it does indeed. But I think it was a great move for Pilieva. She wasn't happy to go to Armenia and up to high altitude. She's come here, she's relaxed, did miss 1 target, and so far it's looking very good for another victory. Surprisingly, Patrick, nobody yet has hit all 20 targets.
And just 2 on 19. So the standard perhaps not quite as good as we thought. The early standard up to the 3rd shoot, Mike, the standard was quite unbelievable. But then you add the fatigue, and you add the nerve, and you add the race situation, and suddenly it's not quite as easy as they thought.
Indeed, and the severity of the track. I did say yesterday that it's relatively easy, but you don't get any rest when you're coming in to shoot, especially in the 4th time you're shooting, and you really are fatigued, having climbed all the way up to the range.
If we switched it round and we had the standing first and then the prone, standing prone, do you think we'd see a different sort of score sheets, different mentality?
I do, to be honest, yeah. If it was stand prone, you're at least more stable in the lying down position for that final 5 shots.
What about giving the athletes the choice?
That would make it interesting. I think everybody would go for stand prone.
I think we'd have mayhem on the range, but certainly an interesting concept, maybe something we'll see in the future. Olga Zaitseva, not a bad run from her, and in fact the Russian team I think will be delighted with the way things are going at the moment. They've got Pilieva in first, Zaitseva now moved up into 7th position. And Michaela Ponza, Mike, this is another encouraging run from her. The best of the Italians so far this year, Ponza. And I think she'll have her mind set on medals, maybe not at the World Championships this year, but she's done enough this season to prove that she could be in contention next year on these very tracks.
And that's exactly what Ponza is after. Medals next year on these tracks.
Now, Glago, not fast enough to threaten the top 3.
Struggling. See, we don't often see Martina, one of the best shots. This is an indication of the difficulty up into the shooting point and the air, the lack of it.
Good finish though from Glago, one of the best so far. Just looking down the list, Kati Wilhelm went clear on the last shoot, but I can't see anyone else who's achieved it apart from Glago. And in fact Simone Denkinger also going clear. Filipova clear on the last shoot, so 3 of them, but on the whole the average 2 misses for the final shoot. That shoot from Glago puts her up into the 8th position with only 1 missed target. The only other 2 who've missed one are in 1st and 2nd at the moment, Pilieva and Davoska. Now what can Bagali do? Could be a big moment for her. 41.50 the time. Oh, she's trying to get inside. 41.05. She's still got a chance, still got a very good chance indeed. Pilieva is not safe, but Russia almost certainly going to go 1 and 2.
Well, what a day for Bagali. She is skiing as fast as she ever has. This is a great day for Anna Bagali.
Starting number 54, maybe it wasn't such a bad idea after all. 30 seconds inside the 50 points now, unlikely to go to Olga Pilieva. But I don't think she'll be disappointed that it's her teammate Bagali who is likely to take them. Ishtad of Norway, 6 misses in all, takes 6 minutes off there, 49 minutes. She would have been had a comfortable lead, skiing very well. So is Tora Berger, so the Norwegians getting a strong squad together at last. Well, if only Gunmargaard Andersen was here as well, they'd have a very, very good squad for the relay.
Well, the upside is that Gunmargaard will be back, we hope, for next year, and yeah, the future looks very good for the Norwegians. Look at Anna Bagali. Anna Bagali and Zaitseva were the only 2 of the Russian women to go to the very high altitude camp in Armenia, and they are having an incredible ski day today. Zaitseva missing 4, though she was the fastest ski time, and Bagali certainly looks to be doing the same.
And it's not so much, I think they've really done it not to prepare for this year's World Championships, Mike, because it's too early. The effects of altitude training only last 2.5 weeks. So really they're thinking about what are we going to do next year. So they've used it as an experimental stage for the pre-Olympics, and that's exactly what this is. So I think the Russians, I think we'll see more of them going to altitude with the times that Bagali and the others have recorded.
Absolutely. Sabina Buchholz maybe showing her inexperience there. Missing 3 out of 5 in the last standing. Yeah, I think the Russian coach will certainly be praised now for suggesting and taking some of his team up to high altitude. And you can almost guarantee they'll do that next year before the Olympics.
Denkinger and Katja Beer both heading towards the finish. It's going to be Katja Beer who crosses first. 55.27 for Katja Beer. 14th place. She'll be pushed down at least 5 places, but still useful World Cup points. But with the German squad so strong, Wilhelm in 2nd. We've got Diesel in 5th at the moment. Slightly further down, we've got Beer now in 14th. So she's the 3rd German at the moment. I think Denkinger could well go ahead of her. Katrine Arpel coming in to finish. 5 misses in all. 55.28. She's going to be outside Beer's time. Just what she didn't need. 15th place. Simone Denkinger looking tired as she heads towards the finish. A good shooting score from Denkinger. Missed one shot in the first pro and the same result in the first standing, but has been clean since then.
Look at the times, Patrick. With 700 metres to go, she has only 0.3 of a second ahead of her teammate Wilhelm. 700 metres to go.
Well, she's fighting well. She's only had a margin of 3 seconds at the start, so she's held that much for 1.5 kilometres, Mike. In fact, 2.5 kilometres, because she's only got 700 metres, as you say. And I think we'll probably see the order change. But if Denkinger's got good skis and can just use the upper body strength that she's got so much of, then she may just hold on to a podium finish. That's what she's after. Into the straight now, just fractions of a second. 51.36 has gone. Wilhelm's finish was absolutely blistering. De Vosker's going to be beaten in fourth place, so Denkinger goes third, De Vosker down a fourth, and that was a superb finish from Simone Denkinger, and it all came from that last shoot where she took her time and boosted her confidence, and she came out of the range like an absolute rocket. So she goes third, Wilhelm second, Pilieva still hanging on to first place, but for how long? We still have Anna Begali out on the course. Gusova, Mike, do you think she's done enough to gain selection? 19th place at the moment?
It might just be enough for the coaches to think, well, it's respectable, it's inside the World Cup points, but when you've got so many of the Russian team performing so well, I don't know. You can't keep testing your athletes.
Do you think she'll go for a transfer? How much will that cost the British team?
Well, excuse me. Certainly Gusova's going to be good in the future. Lost confidence this year, and that's a great performance again for Ishmaratova.
Up into 6th at the moment for Ishmaratova. 48 seconds down off the pace, 2 misses, so skiing just a fraction. In fact, 12 seconds faster than Olga Pilieva, so Ishmaratova is on great form as well. Anna-Karin Olofsson, don't tell us that her run of good form has come to an end. Good shoot to boost morale.
Pretty good finish to her race. Did miss 5 though in the previous 3 shoots. Just looking at the split times, and incredibly the fastest skier in the final 3 loops of 3 kilometres has been the Japanese athlete Meguro, but she missed 8 targets. But certainly the skiing part of her biathlon is brilliant. 8 penalties, and Japanese is the fastest in the final 3 loops. Look at the power of Begali. We don't often see her with such amazing form.
Yeah, she's pulling back even more time. 32.5. This is the effects of altitude training. She's obviously got it just right, because she's making it look very easy. The muscles feeling nice and light still. She's stepping around the turns as if she's only just started the race. Excellent skiing from Begali, and a lesson to be learnt from all. We thought Sandrine Bailly was good, but this is even better. Good shooting as well from Begali, and I can't believe she's going to lose that 32.5 second lead that she has with just 700 metres to go. Lots of bodies to chase. I guess that's one of the advantages of starting later on, Mike, is you're always chasing down slower skiers, which gives you really good spirit.
It does indeed, and you can hook on to athletes. You're feeling good because you're passing athletes, and look at this. This is for a victory today. Anna Begali. Can she keep the pace? We did see the young Russian yesterday, Sherazov, fade so badly in the final for the men 4 kilometres, but I don't think that's the case today. Begali wants this victory so much.
Olga Pilieva's time now looking in danger. 51.14 for Pilieva. Begali 30 seconds or so inside that at the last of the split points. The crowd sensing that this is something special from the woman from Murmansk. Just 25, so still got another 3 or 4 years at the top of her game. but only in her 5th season now, and she's been getting better and better each year. 24th in 2003, she was 5th in the World Cup standings last year, but this is the first real sign of brilliance we've seen from Anna Bagali so far this year. 2 wins to her name prior to this season, one of those coming in the individual up at altitude in Antolt, so maybe this is just what she wants, and she'll be delighted that the Olympics are being held here next year. So maybe worth an early bet, just get some money on Bagali, probably to take medals. It's a tough ask to take the gold, especially when all the women are going to be aiming for their peak performance. And looking through the performances this year of some of the athletes, Mike, if you draw a graph of their performances, there's a rise and a fall, and the rise tends to last between 3 and 4 weeks. Is that how you experienced it?
Indeed, yeah, it's hard to keep absolute top form. I mean, we see in the men's competition, Bjorn Dahlen, Ole Einar Bjorn Dahlen, holding great form, but he is unusual. I would agree, 3 or 4 weeks at your absolute peak, and then you drop down a little bit. Doesn't have to drop that far, as Glago is coming in for a good performance. Not quite, her ski speed has dropped off. Remember, she won the first individual up in Oslo the 2nd week of December, and that's an indication that her form has dropped off.
Or that everyone else's has come up.
Possibly.
Bit of both, I suspect.
Bit of both in there. Now, has Bagali done enough?
I think she has. 51.14 she's after. She's well inside that. It's been a great effort over the last 3 kilometres. Bagali notching up the winner. Can't see anyone else. We'll have a quick check at the performances of those later starters in this race. 26.5 inside Pilieva. Anna Bagali putting Russia 1 and 2, taking her first win of the season. She's back on form.
Well, so happy, Bagali. One kisses to the camera.
Welcome back to San Siccario. A good finish from Ivanova, coming in 15th. So those who are in the World Cup points at the moment aren't safe. Here's Jenny Adler of Germany, the junior world champion from Utmerian last year in the individual and the pursuit. So a name to watch out for in the future. A bit of a nervous start from Adler today. 2 misses in that early prone, but she's got herself into the top 30, and if she can go clear again on the final shoot, then Adler may well finish in the top 15 today. That would be an outstanding performance, and certainly one that Uwe Musikang would take notice of. Not the best of days for the Germans, but they won't be too dissatisfied. Wilhelm 3, Denkinger 4 at the moment. Diesel down in 8th, Glago in 9th, so 4 in the top 10 for the Germans. The Russians have 1 and 2 with Bagali and Pilieva, and then they have Ishmaratova in 7 and Guseva in 10. So very, very tight indeed. 71 starting is 21-year-old Russian, Pilieva, and not a bad run, just out here for experience really, and I think that's got to be a good move. 7 minutes off the pace, but give her a season or 2 and I think she'll be giving Bagali a run for her money. And Anko, shame that miss could cost her a top 15. She was on the cards for that. Cocker being pushed down. There's Poiré down in 20th at the moment. So many of the big names making mistakes on the last shoot. So no change in the top positions at the moment. Just going back to the 3rd shoot, looking for some of the later starters who've made an impression. We saw Michaela Ponza go through. In fact, number 64, Kuchecha of Romania, has had an astonishing run. She's clear after the first 3 shoots and up in the top 12 at the moment. So we'll try and keep an eye out for her. No one else outside the top 60 features in the top 20. Now Grigorin to make it 19 out of 20 and record a very respectable time. World Cup points possibly for the first time this year.
Well, what a pity, that last shot. But I think Gregorin will be happy and Slovenia will be happy. Oh, just outside the World Cup points. She needs to ski this 3 kilometres faster than she's ever skied before just to get World Cup points. 33rd.
Well, it really is very tough indeed. Some of the later starters going well. Ananko of Belarus, number 73, she's in 22nd after 3 shoots with just 1 miss, so a chance for her to pull up a few more places. Rachel Steermike, who we saw earlier on, we thought she'd put in a great run, but she's been demoted down to 29th after the first shoot, and Steer after the 4th shoot, dropping out of the top 20, so not quite such a strong finish as we suspected. Still in the World Cup points though, and that will be a good performance. Emma Fowler out there on the course today for Great Britain, a couple of times in the top 50 this season. She's now looking to break into the top 40, just slowly winding up her aims and goals for the race, but the shooting not too hot today from Emma. 5 misses in all, 4 in the standing, 1 in the prone, and she's a good 10 minutes behind the leaders, so that's one she'll want to forget and now focus on Saturday's sprint event, which is her next chance of getting a good run. Olofsson of Sweden looks happy enough for things, but it didn't start brilliantly for her.
Oh, but she did manage to turn it around, and she's one of the few athletes to hit all 5 in the last standing. So there is something good to come from every race, or you can take out of every performance, and that's what she'll be looking at, the control in her last shoot.
19 out of 20 hits for Kadava as she comes in. Been a good day for the Bulgarian team. They'll be very encouraged with the way things have gone with the likes of Davoska, and a solid performance once again.
Total fatigue, your legs just hardly support you when you cross the line. That's 15 punishing kilometres. Energy zapping. Good to see some other nations on the range. Normally we just focus on the best. The Romanian now, Pordea. And big development in the Romanian camp, trying to bring in the juniors, give them race experience. And a big experience that is for a 22-year-old. So we see her heading out. Another 3 kilometres. Very heavy rifle stock, Moguina. The Russians, I think, have opted, they have a lot of strength. Their rifles are generally heavier than the rest of the field, and I think that's a good thing. You need a good heavy, a good rifle, should I say, and a heavier one reduces the body movements or the pulse going through the rifle. It does help your shooting performances.
Katja Haller of Italy just coming in now with her score. She'll want to forget the shooting. The skiing 101, 10.53 behind with 7 misses in all. So 3 minutes or so off the ski pace. There you see Emma Fowler down in 54th position at the moment. Now Sylvie Beccard back from injury, that second prone. What a shame. That would have lifted the spirits a little had she hit all 5, but misses the last one. Strange format of targets, reminds me of Magdalena Forsberg when she was around.
That helps take the pressure off. It reduces the big impact of this is my last shot. Just changing the order there. But Sylvie's race...
Welcome back. back to the closing stages of the women's individual. I'm afraid you've missed most of the excitement if you've just joined us, but an excellent race, and the Russians coming out on top today with superb runs from Begali and Pilieva. They're 1 and 2 in the finish area at the moment. 41.20 the winning time, or we suspect what is going to be the winning time from Anna Begali. 19 hits, so a ski time of 40.20. Pilieva in second, the Voskra Bulgaria, her best run of the season, in third, and Simone Denkinger, Mike, fourth again. She's just missed out, maybe pushed down 1 or 2 places, I don't think so, but Denkinger is one of those who just doesn't seem to be able to take that step onto the podium.
It's strange. She went out after the final shoot in third place and just dropped down into fourth. She will be disappointed, would prefer to be on the podium, but Wilhelm skied the faster final 3 kilometres.
Grishva and Guidon, the two main Polish competitors, both usually very good with the rifle.
Just looking at the top 20, we've got an American in there, and Rachel Steer. We have Sweden, Canada, Zina Kocher, 17th. 2 Bulgarians, Filipova, and of course Devoska, and 1 Italian. So Ponza did manage to place 14th. She knows she can do better than that because her shooting can be better. She missed 2 targets. And 2 of the Belarus athletes, Ivanova, Zubrilova, one behind the other, 15th and 16th position. Tanaka clear on her second prone shoot. And again, the statistics on the skiing part of this 2-sport biathlon, it is the Japanese athlete, now that is unusual, who has the fastest ski time, the fastest course time. That is quite amazing. Kanai Meguro was faster than all others. Olofsson second.
That's on the last lap.
It's on the last 3 laps, and her average overall is the best.
The average over the whole lot is the best.
Absolutely.
So Meguro is someone we need to watch out for. Now, what can the junior world champion do? Jenny Adler. It really was a very promising run up to this stage. But don't forget that so many of the big names have done exactly the same. Diesel missing on the last shoot, Poiré missing on the last shoot, and Sandrine Bailly critically missing 3 on the last shoot, going from first down into her current position at the finish of 6th. So it has cost her 6 places. She almost had it in the bag. We'd almost given her the gold medal for today, but proving once again that that last standing shoot is a real hurdle.
Well, this young lady is going to be one of the big names. As you said, she's junior world champion. Missed her 2 shots there. She seemed to rush it just a little bit too much. But the future is bright for Adler. Belarus girls are coming back, another one in the top 30, Anenko.
4:36, so 2:36 outside the best ski time. Or 3:33.5 minutes really behind the current leader, Anna Begali. So a little bit of work to do there. And I don't think that's going to happen in one season. But she looks happy enough with the way things have gone. Superb conditions once again, and it bodes well for next year's Olympics if we can have a nice high sitting over Europe during the Olympic Games. Create a great atmosphere. I can see thousands of people just sitting on the fields, enjoying the sunshine and watching the racing at the same time.
Quite a spectacle indeed.
Kolobachova, 5 misses. Highlight of her career back in 2003 when she did so well in the Khanty-Mansiysk World Championships, taking a title there. 7 minutes off the pace. Shrugs her shoulders to say, I don't really know where it all went wrong. Just like the Russians, the Norwegians starting to blood some of the young talent. Norstad now Can she clear the last 5? Yes, she can. 4-1-0-0. Not a bad finish at all for Norstad, and take away that first shoot, which may have been a case of the nerves. She may be someone we need to keep an eye on in the future.
Yeah, what a punishment, missing 4 out of your first 5 shots, 4 minutes penalty, but what a comeback. To only miss a further 1 shot in the next 15 shows the strength of Norstad.
Well, while the latest starters are just winding up, Mike, a couple of emails, one in particular coming in from an old colleague of ours, Marty Watkins, who's commenting on the British shooting. I know you met up with him at the British Championships this year, wanting to know why you're not involved with coaching the British team as far as the shooting goes. Well,
that would be an interesting prospect, and certainly a lot of the drills that I used to do work. Yeah, if asked, I would seriously consider that. I would love to give something back.
And you haven't been asked?
No.
Oh, well, there's maybe some employment for you in the summer, but certainly they need to pick it up. Emma Fowler not having such a good day today. But surprisingly, no one clear in the 15-kilometre here in Italy. Begali and Pilieva, the top 2. Watch out for the big names. Glago down in 9th at the moment. Tora Berger, good race for her, just ahead of Olga Zaitseva. And Michaela Ponsra of Italy putting in another good run. Livgreta Poré just outside the top 20. She may be skiing well, but the shooting falling apart on the last shoot. 3 misses. Kochisia of Romania in the World Cup points at the moment, Mike. She could just hang on to a top 30. Xinglang Lu in danger of dropping out of the World Cup points for the first time this season. So that would be a disappointing day for her. Other failures, Lanny Barnes of the United States not going so well. Rachel Steer, though, did have a good race, and she's still in the top 20. 102. Another of the young Germans, Ute Niziak, and the shooting is good, Mike. Excellent for someone who's so inexperienced at this level.
That is quite brilliant, isn't it? And still potential top 25 finish here.
Oh, what a shame. Thrown the last 2 of the last 3 wide, maybe rushed the last one a little. She didn't need to, and 45-44 looks so much worse than 43-44. It would have been an impressive time.
But think of the occasion. Here you are, your first World Cup, and it's looking so good. Top 10 as you come in for your final 5 shots, and it really is about trying not to think about that, and that's maybe where she tripped over.
Nice steady position. Certainly the arm cuff looks to be very tight to hold it in position. Any preference on that?
A lot of people do like the arm cuff, especially in the pro, and it holds you, it supports the rifle. If you have it too tight, you really do feel the pulse coming through your left arm. Many athletes do like it tight. I certainly didn't like it too tight when I was racing. Tight but not over tight, so you could get your finger in between your arm and the cuff. I think for me and for most biathletes, that's the way it's preferred.
Well, if you don't get blood to the fingers, you're soon going to suffer. 4:27 behind for Vejnerova of the Czech Republic. 3 misses. That's not a bad performance. 25th at the moment, and she pushes Xinglang Lu of China outside the World Cup points. So if she stays in the top 30, she'll be very, very satisfied with her day's work. Looking down the list of late starters, Martine Albert of Canada, Mike, not been on brilliant form so far, starting number 99 today. Still waiting to see her best, because in past years she has been the best of the Canadians.
Martine Albert has had some fantastic results. She did retire though the last 3 years, so making a comeback. And she did at one point go over to Bulgaria to train with the Bulgarian women. That was 4 years ago, and learned a lot from the system there and how they structured their year plan.
Sylvie Beckart, not a day to remember. 5-6 misses in all, and 8:56 down off the lead of Begali.
3, 2, 1, 0.
On throughout the season, and a chance to see some of the young stars that may be making it in 2-3 seasons' time.
Yeah, Kolinchik will be very happy, missing 3, I think, hitting 17 out of 20. Maybe even get in the relay team. 22-year-old.
What's your impression of the Olympic tracks so far?
Yeah, very impressed. The tracks have stood the test of the 113 athletes out there. Of course, using this same loop all the time. Now that's with the big depth of snow, mostly man-made snow that's down here. And we can guarantee, regardless of the temperature, the show will go on next year. Very little natural snow around this area. In fact, it just seems to be the little corner of the Alps here that hasn't picked up on the snow. It's been snowing so much over in Ruhpolding and Antholz.
All depends on the wind direction as to whether it drops on these slopes or not. They've got enough, obviously, to hold these races, but it's going to be an expensive process to ensure that they have the tracks in prime condition for next year's Olympic Games. As far as dress rehearsals go, everything seems to have run fairly smoothly. We haven't had any technical problems with the targets, and no real complaints from the athletes about the tracks, just saying they're tough.
Very tough indeed, that's the main reading. Were some complaints last night at the team captains meeting, mainly from the bigger teams, if you like, who are accommodated at a lower altitude. The poorer teams are up at 2,000 metres, which is doesn't help your recovery after the races here. But some complaints about the food in the better hotels, believe it or not, and some problems with the waxing irons and the waxing huts, but all that will be sorted out before the Olympics next year. A new venue, there's always going to be some issues, some areas where it can be improved on.
But surely all the top teams bring their own food anyway. So many of the teams have their own chefs to prepare the food that they always eat. And that stands to reason that you're going to perform better on food that you and your people have been brought up with for generations.
Yeah, possibly, but it's such a big operation to carry such a backup. Not every team can afford to do that.
A couple of haggis for you then.
Give us some haggis.
Now, number 112, the penultimate starter here, Grudicek of Slovenia. Is she going to be the first to go clear? That would